over, but I still have questions. It's over, but I still have questions. Sex appeal is so real. 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 Sex appeal is so real.
Hello, my loves. Welcome home, where home is my love life. This is the X Appeal podcast. I'm your host, Miriam Katz. Today, we have a story that very few people can say they've experienced. I co-starred in a movie with my guest years ago, and in the film, we fell for each other. And we expressed those big feelings physically a lot in many ways. So you're going to hear two people talk about what it is like to have fake sex, which for me personally was very hot. What a life experience. Enjoy.
You like drugs, you like God. You like drugs, you like God. You like drugs and you like God.
Hello.
Would you like to wait a second, or should we
No, I'm ready.
enter into society?
Yeah, we can just jump.
Okay, good. So you're having an okay day?
It's fine.
Good.
Yeah.
When do you go down there?
Sometime at the end of, probably Thursday or Friday, if I can get away.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'd just love to go through the beats,
Yeah.
like a meeting, and then just, there isn't that much, which it kind of makes it easy because we can just talk about everything.
Right.
So we met when you auditioned me,
That's right.
and I can't remember if this was true because we had 2 rounds of auditions.
Yeah.
I certainly remember the second round just being like, okay, so we're on a date. And then we did it again and had a second date. I think the first round probably was something similar, or we improvised a scene. Do you remember anything?
God, I don't remember what the sides that I sent out were.
I think there was a script, and then we ended up improvising.
Well, yeah, I think I wrote a scene specifically for the auditions that was basically the first date scene, like these 2 people meeting. And then I don't remember. And then I think I just had that scene to work with, and then did some improv stuff, certainly for stuff that would happen later in the story. But yeah, I can kind of picture the auditions here in LA. Remember, I think I used some spot initially where they would let you use it for free if you auditioned a certain amount of their people, or maybe
no way.
Or maybe
funny.
It was, maybe I paid for this place. I can't remember.
They're not very expensive, those rooms. I actually don't even know if those rooms exist post-COVID, but
yeah,
because I've auditioned people at like Cast or one of the other places. I think we weren't there, but but I do remember that I thought it was just a regular old movie with a script.
Yeah.
Because initially there was a script. And then was there, because you did call me back, I know this is unlikely, but is there anything you remember from the first audition?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's fine.
Not
No,
really.
That's fine.
I mean,
I don't think
I could, I don't know if I can't pick out any specifics from the callback either, except that it was like, oh yeah, well, this woman is the one. Like I can't even think in my head of other actresses I was considering for that role. I'm sure there were certainly women I called back, but nobody that I can even think of. So,
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I do remember, in that second round of auditions that, we just improvised going on a date, which is like what a date is.
Yeah.
A date is just like sitting there talking. It's just you and I being like, so what's up? And like, we just had a conversation, and then you're like, let's do it again. I was like, cool. It's a second date,
Yeah.
It was just us hanging out. And then you gave me the part, and then it was a while before we filmed, and I wasn't even really sure it was going to happen. And then it did. Do you want to say anything?
No, I mean, I don't remember the timeline that well because it was a project that there was a lot of like separate shoot. There was the main shoot that you were involved in, and then there was a bunch of other elements to it that went on for a couple of years. Yeah. So it was that kind of indie kind of film project that wasn't just, go shoot something in a month or so and then that's it, Yeah.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah, the timing, I'm trying to think back on it. I know it was
it 2018 when we shot?
I wanted to say it was 2019, but I'm not positive.
Okay.
I'm not positive.
Which is all fine.
Yeah.
And then I remember you picked me up to go shoot. I'm going to not give any details elsewhere.
Yeah.
Right. So, and so we had a car ride together, and I feel like already in the car ride, it was almost like we were entering into what we were about to do.
Yeah. I mean, I set up some GoPros.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Because I can't remember. None of it made it into the movie or anything, but I think it was partly to get us just comfortable with, because the way we shot it, there was multiple kind of cameras just set up all the time. And so I didn't think there would be a place for it, but I thought, well, may as well. And so I set up some, some GoPros to like the passenger side windows and other spots. And of course we had my dog Friday, and but I can't remember what the sort of improv scenes I suggested for the drive down.
I don't know that it was, because the way that the film was, it would have been possible to do something of like the making of the movie within the movie.
Oh yeah, maybe that was
so
it.
I think it was just you and I. I don't think it was supposed to be us in character, because it wouldn't even make sense for us to be in a car.
Yeah. No, I think that's right, because initially the movie was going to be kind of a half documentary, half sort of this fiction improv style. And it probably leaned a little more into the fiction elements all told. But yeah, that's right. I was still shooting a lot of like real documentary stuff during that year. Some elements stuck around the movie, some, totally went away. So yeah, I'd kind of forgotten about that. Because you're absolutely right. Because I even considered using some, I was like, I wonder if I'll end up using some audition footage. I never did. But
right. I think I signed something that said you could. Yeah. Right. Because it was all sort of a meditation on dating and your dating life.
Right.
So it was, some of it was recreations of dates you'd gone on. And then, of course, if you're filming someone you don't know that well, that is kind of like dating.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and certainly that audition was, but so I think we were getting into the zone of what we were about to do. There was not a script. There was like an outline, but we were like to be romantic.
Yeah.
So I think we were like flirting. I think we were just like entering into this thing on the ride up. That was my feeling. And then we got to stay at this really nice house, which was really fun, like away from LA. I think that was a huge part of it, that in this process, we both were separate from our daily lives. We were not like seeing friends. We were not, we weren't, it was a world apart.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You're not going home after shooting stuff. Yeah. It wasn't that, and usually movie shoots that do have that create their own little, bubble unto itself, or people describe it as it's like going to camp, and then you break and everyone, you may never see these people again, but you have these like sort of intimate work relationships because you're spending so much time, or the creative energy along with it, or it's just, part vacation. You get a break from life. Because I've had that on other film shoots, certainly not the same, because I wasn't in the movie. I wasn't in the scenes in these other film shoots, but other film shoots I've either worked on or been directing, those are like, very, it's very easy to recall kind of being in those places.
And it's definitely different when you are in it, because it's not just like the other world of working hard on a thing. Like I wouldn't even call it work exactly. It was like, let's imagine an alternate reality together here. And I don't know how you are as a performer otherwise. I think because it was your project, you were very willing to go in. Maybe that's how you are. You don't really act that much, but maybe that's just how you are. Who knows? For me, that's very much how I am as an actor. I'm like, all right, what's this life that I'm in for a second? Even when I'm doing voiceover and I'm a worm, it's like, all right, digging in the dirt now. Yes. So we got there and chilled for a bit. And then we had a date at a bar. So it was like shot at a bar, Rogue.
Well, I had a friend who was working at the bar, his wife.
Oh, right.
And he played a little role. So she essentially was working there when we were there and got the okay to like, oh yeah, they can come shoot here.
God, leaving LA.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, neato, you're doing a project.
Yeah. And so it had, there was part of the scene. I mean, I can picture the scene well because it's a big scene in the movie. And so, a lot of what we shot is there, even though it was kind of improv. But yeah, we did some like actual sort of documentary kind of stuff inside the bar where it was loud. And then, we went to one of these outdoor tables where we didn't have to fight all the noise, but it was still this actual bar. It was on this, like outside on the street.
And yeah, in watching it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's how I talk.
Yeah, a little bit.
It wasn't, because we didn't have lines. There were some beats. I did talk about a fake job I had, but like barely. And then, like the way I was saying stuff is the way I say stuff.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I can picture elements. I mean, I see when I've watched it back, especially in the time, I mean, who knows, because how it affected me or how much went into it. But I absolutely go on dates now and I'll say some of the same things.
That's funny.
And I probably was saying the same things before, but I'll be like, oh yeah, and I even had an experience with a woman I was dating that was a little similar, like going on out to this house thing. And I was like, God, I feel like I can't ever show this woman this movie because I kind of feel like I'm like recreating the scenes from this. So anyways, I never showed her the movie.
Oh my God. But I want to keep going in chronological order, but I will jump ahead to one thing, which is that I showed the movie to somebody I was dating.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's what you do when you look like you're in love. So it was an even higher level. It wasn't just like the first date level. He was like, it was a little scary. I mean, he was like, was an unusual person. So it's like it's a particular person who was interested in seeing that, but it's like, that's so funny that we do a thing. And I think we all know it, but it is true. Like watching yourself do it on film, it like hardens it a little. You're like, oh, I definitely do that.
Yeah. Well, and especially, I mean, I certainly was mostly playing myself, and it sounds like you were in a similar vein, but I mean, that's partly from my comfort zone and what the movie was too.
Yeah. And I think there were certain things I did and said that maybe I wouldn't in real life. I don't know. Like maybe just a little harsher, a little, I don't know, like a little less nuanced.
Yeah.
But a lot of it, like the role did not call for me to be different. It was just like, oh, you are a woman. So I'm like, well, I'm going to pick this woman I already am. Yes. And also like, I am like kind of playful and want to have a good time. So we just did that. Okay. So we had this hang. There was a funny thing where I had to like break off a date. I remember that was fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was Dan. That was the guy who, my friend who set us up with the bar. So he also played this role. Yeah.
Yeah. And I really remember during that moment how real it felt, because I had to break off a date with him that I'd scheduled too close to yours in this movie to go hang out with you. And I could feel like some redness in my face just because it was so real. It was like not a set. It was not. And it was like, here was a person in front of me who, because of the lines he was saying, indicated that he wanted to hang out with me. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I just made up a thing about you being a family friend and just something, whatever. But I felt bad for Dan, which is great. And then went back and then I was like, all right, let's go back to your house.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I even just picturing the movie, I mean, that scene in my mind in what people like walking by, and people probably thought we were shooting a reality show, in retrospect.
But I also don't even know that everyone could necessarily see the camera. Like, wasn't the camera a bit far off? I don't remember experiencing the camera.
When you went and talked to the guy, it was further off, but it was, I mean, the camera was right there.
Okay.
But yeah, very minimal.
Maybe also because it was outside. Footprint. It's like easier to forget a camera because it's like, well, someone's there. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we went back to your place and I think took a little walk. And then I do remember in the movie, you giving me a tour of the house and us like having fun and flirting and running around. And then it was like in the script that we kissed then, and then we just kissed.
Yeah. Yeah. That was like the, first kiss was just, on camera. Okay. I guess going for it.
Yeah. And it's not like I've also never, I can't really imagine fake kissing. Like I know on TV they fake kiss, but it always looks crazy to me. I'm like, that's not kissing. It's not kissing.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, what? It would have been completely absurd to like fake much, but it was like, all right, well, it's just a funny thing to be like, okay, this is a fiction, but like a kiss is a kiss.
Yeah.
It is real.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm just thinking about all these actors who have done it 100 times. And maybe it becomes rote in that respect. But it certainly doesn't feel so far from, the real world. I mean, I guess, on a huge set with a lot of people and stuff, and like you kiss and then somebody immediately comes and touches up your makeup and something, it's going to be different than a small project. But,
a small project, I think it's a lot easier to have it feel super real, plus an improvised small project. It's just because it's like, yes, there was a beat where we were going to kiss, but it wasn't like, and now kiss. Right. It was like, okay, when it kind of made sense, we kissed. But I feel really lucky that I got to do the version that was just like, okay, feels real and looks real. And like, it's nice to see that instead of something on a sitcom that's like, they're not kissing. I know they're not. Yeah. Their lips are somewhere near there, but like, they're not, that's not a real thing. But it's a funny thing to capture, something that's not reality TV,
Yeah, I guess, it probably is a little closer, I'm just thinking about these Bachelor kind of shows where, the main contestant is kissing like, all the people on the show.
Yeah.
And I mean, those are real. Like, it's not like a fake, those aren't like, they're not faking, like making out like a movie might. And it's like, so I guess it's a little close, it's like a halfway to sort of that kind of world.
Yeah. And I even wonder on those shows if they're like, okay, so you guys kiss now a little bit,
they for sure give hints to each of the people as they're like going into the scene, or they come whispered in the ear. I think you guys might kiss now. Yeah. I mean, there's like no doubt.
So funny.
Like watching.
To be like, or at least to like make the suggestion, be like, so, and if you feel like kissing, just go for it. Just make sure you're facing camera, whatever it is.
I'm for sure they ask them to repeat,
that's
kissing, all that stuff. Like, I haven't watched one in a little bit, but I do like watching them because the editing is just incredible on them. I mean, some of it's because they're shooting so many cameras, but like it's so obviously this created kind of thing. So, yeah.
I think that night we shot the sex scene. Is that right?
I doubt it.
Okay.
I doubt it.
It was at night that we shot it, I think. I don't think we shot that during the day. And I don't think we did day for night.
No, I think we did it at night. I can't.
Maybe not. It would have been a lot to shoot.
Yeah, I feel like it probably wasn't.
Okay.
But at the same time, I'm not sure.
Okay. Maybe it was the next night, but that was the next thing I remember shooting. I mean, we probably shot stuff during the day. We shot definitely us like going to the beach and hanging out and frolicking and flirting. And then I definitely remember us shooting a sex scene in your parents' bed. We can not include that, in a bed. And we were in our underwear.
Yeah.
And then we fake had sex.
Yeah, essentially. It was shot like to frame, kind of like torso up. And then, it was sort of a couple long takes of, faking having sex.
Yeah. But like, I thought we did a really good job. Yeah. Like it did not feel fake because we were kind of just like dry humping,
Yeah, pretty much.
But it was like, again, kind of like the kiss. It was like, it was nice to like make that feel totally real.
Yeah. I mean, there was why I think it was this next night. I feel like we had established a bit of like an intimacy or comfort with each other.
Yeah.
That.
Which is so funny.
Helped.
You're like 24 hours later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it might have been like, it was either the night you say or the next night that we shot this scene for sure. It wasn't longer than that, but yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, I guess there's just, I would say some of it is your personality, but also sometimes people just click and can be a little, you have the same thing in real life dating.
Yeah.
And there's a reality, it's what people say when, some movie couple like looks real or whatever, there's chemistry, there's a chemistry. And so I think that was a big element of it, was a comfort with each other, a quick comfort, that had to do with driving down, just, very small production. Yeah.
Yeah. And openness, like I said, I think we were both like, let's make this good. I mean, you can't force something to be good, but I think there was like a playfulness and an openness. And I don't think I was trying to make it a particular way. I think it was like, well, what's this going to be? And yeah, we were attracted to each other. So it made it like, okay, I'll say I was attracted to you. So it like made it easy to be like, all right, well, let's fake do this. But it's so funny to fake have sex with somebody and not really. I mean, it's also hot to like pretend you're having sex, but not be wanting to have sex, but sort of wanting to be having sex. Like that is so funny.
Yeah.
And like interesting. And also I've just never been in that situation before and may never be, it's like a very particular situation. It's not, it's particular to acting and.
Right. No, I mean, I can't. I mean, I don't know when that'll ever happen in my life. I don't see myself veering into acting suddenly. But there's a reality to it for sure that, I certainly either didn't know how to do differently, just, not really being an actor going into it. Or not having that experience. I'd been around enough of it or directed scenes. So it's not that foreign, but it's still, different to be in front of the camera.
And it's sort of like people say that if a cat comes on stage, all of a sudden you see how fake the acting is, or like a kid too. And there's something about sex where it's like, well, you're going to fake what you're going to do. Like, that's like crazy. I mean, we were not having intercourse, but it was like, I don't know how we could have done it differently from how we actually do that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure I don't know.
Like and I also wasn't going to be like horny about it. It was just like, no, this is like and it's not like what I do in general. It's like, this is what I do with you, because it's like two people co-creating a thing. But it was fun. Yeah. And it not odd in like, while I was in it was not in my head. It was not like, oh, I'm really thinking about what's happening, but it is very odd to be like in our underwear and pretending we're not in our underwear. And like, yes. And there's also elements of it that like are actually hooking up, like a kiss. And I feel really comfortable on camera and I feel comfortable with nudity. So it's like, you cast super well.
I think so.
And you didn't know that.
No, you don't know that. Yeah, unless somebody has the reel for it or something.
And OnlyFans. I don't even know that OnlyFans existed then, but yeah.
Yeah. So, but there was, before and after thing of, some tension, certainly like leading. We know we have to do this sex scene at some point. So there's like a tension of, this, and then the stress relief of it, of just, that went pretty good. And like, I feel, we're probably like closer even now. And that even helps, the trajectory of the relationship in the movie, I think, which sort of does go and depicts that quick kind of, not a crush, but
like falling for someone.
Yeah. Falling for someone quickly.
Yes. Yeah. And I think I just it just occurred to me that being by the ocean, I think probably helped. We were spending all this time on the beach. I was like, I felt so relaxed. I didn't feel like I was anywhere. I was not in a real city, you know. So I think that helped with the sort of like breeziness. And then, yeah, we also spent, especially one evening, we had a bonfire. We just like, made out for so long. Because it was like, well, we just need this footage. You know, it's just,
we just made an actual bonfire and...
Yes. Right. Actual ocean, actual bonfire. Yes.
Yeah.
Actual s'mores.
Yeah. And we should, you know, like I think there's obviously certain elements of small production, micro budget that's going to allow you to kind of, like you said before, kind of forget the camera a little bit. And yeah, we shot on lavs the entire time. We never had a boom. So there wasn't like a boom in your face, and takes could just go on and on.
Yeah.
We weren't like resetting. And so I think that was part of it that I'm sure looking back added to that, you know, it's more how a doc is shot in a lot of ways, you know, if they don't have someone who can be a sound person. It's just all lavs and or reality TV is a lot like that. So planted mics. So, I mean, I think because I can picture that scene, and it's a really nice scene in the movie, the bonfire scene, you know, because it's like your typical golden hour kind of thing. And we made the actual fire, and it's sort of a there's like quiet conversation between us that feels real. Like I had a lot of people comment to me about that scene in particular. And I think part of that is because it's at the ocean and bonfire. So it feels like there's something really visual about it, that people really bought that scene, or like, oh, that was like a little bit of being kind of emotionally like naked in a different way.
Yeah.
That, you know, you're having both to, I mean, in the course of the filmmaking, that's the moment where it's sort of trying to test whether this is real or not between these people. And those are probably conversations. I watched that. I'm like, oh yeah, that's how hard it would be for me to have that conversation with someone in general. Those, you know, I'm not going to be the most verbose, like communicative person in these things. So it did capture, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, you know, nervous. And yeah, I mean, I can't remember if I was, because it echoes certain relationships from before that I know I was calling on, and like, but I don't think as like my acting method, I was thinking about that in the moment, but I can picture the versions of that conversation with other people in my actual life. And it's not far off. It's not far off, some of it, you know? And so it's, Yeah, that was the scene where Rob was like, that's what you look like when you're in love with someone. And he's like, you've made that face, you know? And not to say that like I am acting in real life. It's just I was really in it. Yeah. I even said something about vulnerability. Yeah. I remember I was like, do you want me to be vulnerable or something? It was sort of a question of, are we gonna open to each other? Are we gonna do this? Yeah. And obviously doing a sex scene is a kind of vulnerability, but that's a different one, I think. Oh yeah. I mean, they're both stressful when I think back about them, but one is like a physical thing. And then one is like, I don't know that I'm an actor I don't know if I can get this across on screen. Oh, you really did. Yeah. I mean, you really did. Yeah. You know, but it's like a setup for me to succeed in that. Well, in terms of just, playing myself kind of, you know, not having to be more than myself in the thing. I think it was maybe the whole thing was probably more stressful for you because it was your project. Like I like to do a great job on anything I do, but also I felt like I could just play around and see what happened. Whereas for you, like you'd spent a lot of time on this project already and money. And so it was like, I think maybe all that stuff. And also you're not a performer. So for you, there's like a lot of stressors. Yeah. I think there was an element, you know, that had to do with dating and relationships in my life earlier, where I definitely wouldn't have been able to do those scenes at an earlier point in my life, too self-conscious.
Wow. Cool.
But
God, growth is cool.
But later, like, cared a lot less about other people's perception of you, or, how you might look. Or I've always been able to do that when I play little roles in other people's movies and stuff. I can kind of like not care how I look. So I think maybe that's part of it, is it camera allows you to do that kind of freely, because you don't have the consequence of the real life if you mess it up. So, and I think that's what I've always seen in actors who are good. It's always pretty shocking how hard it is. Yeah. And I've seen actors who just kind of want to be cool, and, and everything is about, every costume decision and line thing is thinking they're in like a magazine, shoot or something rather than a movie. And
even the way, like, on any, even indie now, like, the hair is perfectly done. It's like, there has been a shift in filmmaking in general. It's nice to see, just the raw. Yeah, it's funny. I don't know. Did you watch this movie that's out now, May, December? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I watched it recently, and so it's about an actress going to do research about she's going to do like a biopic of this tabloid woman played by Julianne Moore. And so Natalie Portman is the actress. So it's an actual, famous actress playing an actress going to this small town. And she goes to one of the kids in the movie's high school drama class to do like hey, here's a real actor. She's like a TV actor in the movie. And one of the kids' questions is about sex scenes. And I absolutely, knowing I was coming here, like, and her response was very on. I mean, partly in the movie, I think it's meant to be like crude and sort of like, can't believe this actress is like, this is a room full of, 15-year-olds and she's, going on like this. But she's essentially saying that, no, sex scenes, you get turned on.
Cool.
And there's really like, she's like essentially telling them, no, they're really intimate and sometimes they're really hot. And
I haven't heard people say that though. Like, I haven't heard actors say that in real life. Like, I feel like I'm the only person who's been like, oh yeah, it was really hot. But like, I feel like,
well, I think Jessica you're not supposed to say that. Yeah.
Sure. But I don't know. I just feel like everyone talks about how technical it is. Right. Like, there can be versions of it where it's super choreographed.
Yeah.
And like takes away any of that.
Yeah.
Or it's, elongated, shot for 4 hours or something instead of for, sort of in real time. But we shot it 3 times. I remember.
Yeah. I couldn't really remember funny. 3. And it was like approximately 2. I can remember 2 for sure.
We shot it 3 and I think we tried to do the same things, which is also really funny.
Yeah. Maybe I moved the cameras around, probably between them. That's probably why, is just getting different camera angles and stuff of why we would do it similar, We didn't try anything too crazy after the first one. I was like, oh, pretty good.
Yeah. I think that's what we would have done.
Yeah.
And then in the actual movie, it's shorter than that. It's actually like not super long, but it looks very real. So like you sort of needed
well, and there was obviously versions where it was, not a long scene, but a real sex scene.
Yeah.
A lot more than sort of what it ultimately ended up being, which is common enough. But yeah, it was much more like, oh yeah, this is going to be like a real sex scene now in the movie.
Yeah.
And
was that always was that your intention?
Yeah, I definitely wanted to see how that would play in this mix of like doc and sort of fiction elements to then like have a scene that you're not going to see in like a documentary, and so to really push it. And, I mean, I don't think the movie like needs it. And that's probably why it's this sort of truncated version of the, like a full cut of the scene. But I think it's still sort of acts as that,
I have the full cut.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate. And we also shot a shower sex scene.
Yeah. Which so it's kind of like 2 scenes and
The shower sex scene I feel like was like less of a big deal because we'd already been hanging out for days. Yeah. And it was like we'd already kissed a bunch and it was like, yeah, whatever. Like it was so whatever, which is so funny because like Yeah, it could be because you could like really see our bodies and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But that one I just felt like was like, la la la, like we were like joking around. It was like not a big deal. Just really funny.
Yeah, that one was much. Yeah, there wasn't any like worries like, well, okay, well, let's try this scene out now. We've just been at the beach. We'd come take a shower. We may as well shoot it.
I think I legitimately needed to get like ocean off of me. It was like a real shower.
Oh, yeah, we really did shoot it, I think, in order of that. I think.
No, I think so.
I think before that shower scene might have been, we just went actually out to the dog beach and shot as if we were going to the dog beach kind of for a few hours and took the dog. And there was like one dialogue, improv scene at the dog beach that's in the movie. Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, it is interesting. There's not, almost everything we shot, like scene wise, is still like a scene in the movie, which is kind of unusual. I mean, especially for like fairly unscripted thing. And it's still like the heart of the movie in terms of, I mean, like even now, I think about going back to the movie and trying to change certain things to resubmit to like film festivals or whatever. And like that section of the movie is always sort of, it's sort of set now, but it's just things around it that, I try to, that took the most work or changed the most. So yeah, I mean, I hadn't thought about that.
I could definitely see it as its own thing. Yeah. I mean, for sure, like our whole thing, because it is kind of its own storyline. It's like we meet up and then we connect and then we'll get to what happens. But yeah. And also we just, again, like we legitimately like had a good time frolicking in the waves. Right. It was like, yeah, it definitely helps to have those real elements. And then I think it might have been after that we shot the bonfire scene, because I think we were in like a very, maybe not, but it was the last night we shot, and we shot a scene. I like walked your dog, and then I came back into the house and you were lying down watching TV and I lay on top of you. And that's our last scene. That's together. Our last scene together. Yeah. Yeah. It just felt real. It felt like, we're really settling into something. It felt like the moment where you're kind of like, I think we're going to like really date now. Yeah. And then and then we like sort of actually hooked up a little bit. Do you want me to not say that?
I don't know.
You can tell me later. You can tell me later if you want me to not say that.
Yeah. I can't, I mean, I can picture us,
because it's sort
continuing.
Of like, exactly. Because it's sort of like, what is kind of the difference? Yeah. We've been hooking up for 4 days. So it's like, okay, but that was the first time that something that I actually really appreciated was that after we stopped filming every day or night, I would like go back to my own room and do my own thing for like a long time. Yeah. And I had like, we didn't blur lines, honestly, even though we blurred lines in the filming. In the days, I don't think we blurred lines. And for me, that was very helpful as a reset, and also not to I've actually really learned on set to not blur lines, because if you start flirting at 6 a.m, you have to keep on flirting at 5 p.m. and you're exhausted. It's like, nope, like I'm not playing this game. It's fine. But I was totally willing to do it on camera, but like it was nice to not have to like keep up a thing. We were actually kind of like totally did our own thing a lot of the time when we weren't shooting. But yeah, we did like kind of actually, I think because it was like the last night. So it was like,
I think so.
It doesn't matter. We didn't have to preserve our energy. We didn't have to like make sure everyone felt comfortable. It was like, whatever, like camp's almost over. Yeah. But yeah. And I do think, okay, so there was like a kind of fiction that was created that was like, but it also felt real. We actually legitimately had chemistry. And we were getting along. And so I do think there was a moment where I was like, I think we're going to start dating.
Yeah. Well, especially the drive back. We were still it felt like we were still in it, even though, the shoot's over. Yeah. And, we're heading back. The whole drive, it felt like I was like with somebody I was dating going back for sure. Yeah.
That didn't somehow, I will say, that didn't feel complicated or bad.
No, definitely not.
it was like, okay, I don't know. Like, and I think we said like, okay, we're going to hang out.
Yeah.
And then we just never did.
Never did.
And like, I think that's for the best, like for the movie and whatever.
Right.
It's like, it's totally fine. But it is kind of awesome that we're very in sync physically. And we were in sync in terms of like how open we were going to be in this process. And then I think we were both in sync of like, but yeah, but then, and then not.
Right.
Somehow it was like, I think the thing that can get hard in any kind of romantic situation is when like you're not in sync. Cause I've been in sync with people where it's like, oh yeah, it's time for us to break up now. And that can be like oddly romantic. Cause it's like, oh, we're in sync. I've been in sync about like, oh, we're going to be in an open relationship. I've obviously been in sync where it's like, okay, we definitely are going to do this thing. And it's funny that like, it was like we did something for a project that had a lot of real elements, but wonderfully there wasn't a messy or bad feeling of like, but I wanted more, but you promised me, you know what I mean? Like that could have happened on either end. And like magically, I think it totally didn't.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just making me think about, you know, I mean, it's a fairly stereotypical view on things, but yeah, you do meet people throughout your life that you kind of click with, and some are longer and some are shorter. And like, yeah, there is like and I certainly like the fiction version of that's in the movie with you. Like a lot of the movie, whether it's like actual doc stuff or recreations of dates, were based on like real stuff. The storyline with you was much more, it had never happened to me in my life, of this like falling for somebody, you know, like 48-hour, 3-day date kind of thing. And I've had friends, you know, who are still together even like tell me that was kind of how their relationship started, where they just knew. Or you think about, yeah, certainly like a travel vacation kind of thing would be somewhere where this would be more likely to happen or whatever. And so, but I do feel like I've had a version of that because, yeah, we went out and shot this thing, and it was, yeah, there were like actual feelings of like, oh, wow, we really do get along. Like this is easy. You know, it's what I would say is one of the biggest factors when I have had other relationships, is just there's an ease. And I'm sure it's similar for most people, of being with someone. And yeah, we had that in this sort of odd circumstance.
That is documented.
Yeah, it's documented.
It's like, it's proven. And then it's like, yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I always love that thing of not all relationships are meant to last forever. Sometimes they're meant to last like 4 days. Yeah. Or sometimes it's just like you see someone on the subway and you're like, I don't actually need to talk to you.
Yeah.
this
will
eye sex is enough.
Occupy a place in my mind for.
Yeah. But yes, I do. It is very lucky that not only do we get to like have that, but we were both like fine with the duration.
Yeah. No, and I always wondered, because we didn't like hang out or go do something later. It's interesting to talk about because we never talked about that since then. It's kind of interesting to hear that we both was sort of like both had that moment and then kind of, dissipates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I know. And it is interesting also that we never talked about it, but I think that also kind of makes sense because those things can be sort of subtle.
Yeah. Well, and it was this project, and it puts up some like blocks for myself at least, of like not wanting to like overreach talking about it or,
Right. Especially while you're in the middle of dealing with it. And also you had to look at me a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot of, for you, you're probably thinking about it more because it was like all this footage.
Yeah. Well, and then, I walk away from it and then look at all the other scenes, and I have other scenes to shoot. And
Right. How does this fit in? Yeah. It's a little more like bird's eye view.
Because, that was still, it was still, shooting that together was still like, well, I hope this works, as an actual film thing. But if it, it might not have, and I would have been like, okay, well, do I just jettison sort of this, and is it more of this documentary thing? But I would say it's the overall thing that works the best in the movie is that section.
Yeah, it's a long section.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
40 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And we should also say for the audience that in the end, so we have this like amazing 48 hours where we're totally connected. We're basically saying, I guess we're doing this. Let's get vulnerable. I don't really remember what I said to you when I was lying on top of you on the couch, but it was sort of like, I think I made a joke like, okay, I'm moving in now or something like that. But it was like, it just felt like we were totally together, like the dog and the TV. And then the next morning I leave.
Right.
And you don't even have my phone number because we just communicated through the app. And then I deleted my Tinder or.
Yeah. Or like you delete. I think it was supposed to be Tinder.
My dating app. Yeah.
It's like your dating app profile disappears as I'm trying to message you back. So it's like, and I haven't had that experience in that specific kind of dramatic way, certainly. But that element of dating app life, of having like a couple dates with someone and then, you never hear from the person again. Like I've had that happen to me for sure. I've done it to other people. It's just, so it was trying to capture that part. And the movie it's not setting up to be kind of a romantic, everything works out film. But for like and then the scenes with me alone, I mean, a lot of it is the visual. It's like in this empty house. And then I go with my dog to the beach alone on this like foggy morning. And they kind of, it was the element that what was very true is sort of like at that end of just kind of being exhausted by the dating apps and like thinking you've found someone and then it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could, go on about the dating apps and stuff quite a bit, but there's such an element of fantasy to them. Like even before you meet someone,
I know.
You've just seen, people like connect their Instagram accounts to these things. You're just getting like way too much information kind of about somebody where you can create this alternate version of what, and I think it does speed things up sometimes, but.
Yeah. And I think there's a thing about connecting quickly. It's like, we all really want to connect and we're also backlogged and don't have enough of that feeling. And sex and intimacy are like one of the only places where you're allowed to sort of like really share yourself. And like, it's like one of the only areas in society that you're allowed to have sort of like your spirituality expressed. So there's like, there's too few places where you're allowed to share yourself like that. So in this funny way, you can sort of you can so quickly enter into something intimate and not kind of take the time. And so it's sort of, there is often a thing where it's like, oh, we had two very different experiences of that. I thought we were about to start something and you just wanted to have sex.
Yeah.
Even if there is, I mean, I've dated people who've been like, first date, like, I'm going to make you my girlfriend. And then like, we have sex and then that's it. Like, it's
never
like,
hear from the person again. Oh,
and it's like, it's like, but it's not just like you gave me the sense, you said it explicitly.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I was looking for a girlfriend. You're like, but you said it explicit. Like, it's wild, but it's also like people it's not just that they want to have sex. It's like people really want to feel connected and then are afraid of feeling connected. And like that didn't feel false because I think, and it didn't make all of the intimacy we created in the movie false necessarily. It was just sort of like, oh, I think that woman just wanted an experience.
Yeah, or she just woke up, because in the movie it's supposed to be this guy lives in another city. He's sort of come to this vacation place. And so, she, in my mind, she kind of woke up and said, oh, what this isn't a real thing. And so she, rather than have the conversation or, they could last, who knows, where she's got something to go do. And she's like, just leaves.
Yeah. That like fear also.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, this is bullshit. It's like, oh, I can't keep this up. And I can't, I'm afraid to. And I'm going to become icy and cool because I don't want to deal with continuing to share myself.
Yeah.
Which is a way in which I'm very different from that character. Because I'm always like, well, what's this all about? What else?
Well, yeah, there is, I mean, it's similar. And I don't want to say it's just in the movie, it's obviously this woman who makes the decision. I think it's stereotypically thought of as like a guy, the guy thing of like the next morning, the guy's like, oh, well, I need to go home, or like I need to go back to my life. But I've seen it, both ways a lot more than, I think that's what the dating apps have also done is it's.
Oh, like next?
Next. No, just, next for both sexes. Both people can kind of be like that. So yeah, there's absolutely like a daylight, pull back the curtains element on a lot of these relationships. So
yeah.
Or experiences. Yeah. I mean, it might be that she just like had this, her calendar was kind of open. It's like, okay, well, may as well stay.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is nice. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's like, let me touch a little warmth, but then not necessarily like keep it going. And yeah, it is so interesting how, people just want different things and you like don't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the psychology of your character for Rebecca, isn't as on the surface as mine in the movie.
Mm.
So yeah, we don't totally know,
Yeah, it's also just like good movie making. It's like, it's left open. There's not a feeling of conclusion, which is like what a movie is. It's like, you don't really know what's going to happen.
Well, but most people like to have an end, a conclusive to the story that's being told.
Maybe.
But yeah, we don't know what's going to happen after.
Like they like that, but maybe there's also a nice feeling of like, what? Like the mystery continues.
Yeah, the timeless ones probably are. Like, it's not just, the pure saccharine, like Hallmark rom-com sort of thing. It's, either like a relationship that can't exist, and the people move on, or, there is some semblance of, like The Graduate, like, oh, well, we have no idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember anything else or do you want to say anything else?
No, it was just going through my mind of sort of the shoot and the timeline, because we shot those scenes and then I had to go back a ways later and shoot all this stuff where I'm just the only person on screen. And it was very different and like that was almost more mentally, I was like wiped out. I remember from that of just like, it's a lot more technical. Like I needed these shots of just me in all these little places to stitch the movie together. That kind of like put off shooting to the end. And yeah, I'm just thinking back about, the weirdness of filmmaking and like that, shooting stuff. Because I shot some of those things. I did just shoot, like I would set up a camera and like walk through the frame. Yeah. And then I'd have to do it, 20 times. And,
it's also more fun to do things with other people.
Yeah, I think part of the reason I like filmmaking is the social element. Yes. I'm like I'm not an extrovert by any stretch, but I like the group project element of it, and that you're there together with it, and there's a lot of energy with that. And when you're kind of doing it alone, it's like, oh wow, it really lacks this.
But that kind of works because it was like you alone.
Yeah, it was. And it was mostly sort of supposed to be
stressed.
Yeah. There was elements before where it was sort of riding this, like dating wave of excitement of like, dating all these people. But then there was a lot of like low elements to it. So yeah, I guess it should have been that.
And you said that you sort of felt like you had the experience of a whirlwind romance, like go on a date in the last 48 hours. Given that, but also overall, what were your thoughts of the experience and me?
I certainly think like there's just like, I found the right actress for the role for that kind of project, and the way we connected, there was like no doubt. And there has always been in my mind, not anything like I thought there, would have been more. But yeah, I think because we did connect there occasionally, like you do come back in my mind like, oh, well, yeah, Miriam, didn't follow that through. And not that I think, that was like our destiny or whatever, but it's still just like, yeah, you feel much more like someone in my mind, a little bit more like someone I dated or had that experience within like a film experience.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
And like I put you in this, bucket of like, of not, not exes, but like people that I've been on dates with, and either it's like, oh, maybe I really should have pursued that more, or I wish that person had called me back, that kind of thing that, yeah, is much different than, certainly my relationships with actors and actresses and other stuff I've made, where it's more that kind of, friend you haven't seen in a long time if I run into them. But it is very intimate with those people, but it's like it's a class project camp kind of thing, and yeah, this crossed over into it, and I mean, certainly that happens a lot on movies between actors, and I guess between other people working on the movie. I mean, certainly there's plenty of famous instances of these kind of things happening with crew members. And yeah, so many crew members meet their partners on film sets, like when you work in that industry. So yeah, I think it's a common. I've always thought, because I'm not an actor, I've always thought, what is it like to maintain a marriage or something and then go off and do these things where, I mean, I think it's hard. It's probably a little bit easier now because of the phones and like, the person is, if your partner's back home and you're out on a shoot, you have a lot of contact with them still all the time. Whereas before, you could really go out and maybe you talk to the person at the end of the day, or you miss them and like you kind of forget about the rest of your life. So yeah, it's a hard path, I think.
Yeah, and I think your partner also has to understand how important it is for you to stay in the zone of whatever it is. But yeah, it's definitely unusual.
Yeah. And yeah, I think a lot of relationships suffer from it. So, yeah.
Well, I had a really good experience making that film. It was a lot of work, but also there's a lot of brightness around it. And I'd say it was work, but it was also, actually shooting scenes wasn't taxing really.
Yeah.
It was just like, we had stuff to do, but, it was so singular, and that I just like experiences like that. Yeah. And I think, we really couldn't have known how it was going to go, and we really couldn't control how it went. So I honor that we were both like, all right, let's go. Yeah. And that we both did go in, and we were both open, and we like yielded control and let, I do think there's a way that, like the way you're describing with romance on a trip, it was almost because it was for the sake of a movie and for a finite amount of time elsewhere.
Yeah. That
we really like let it grow, like let the feelings for each other grow, and then sort of wane, sort of when it was over. Not exactly in that block, but yeah, it's cool that we were both down to do that. I had such a good time. I'm so happy to have that footage. It's such an odd experience. Yeah. Like, also, I think there's something just like the straight up sex scene that is a unique experience of faking something that you actually want.
Right.
That's really interesting. And like, again, like I've never had an experience like that. I've either not had sex with someone or had sex with someone, but it's such a interesting in between. So like overall, I'm just grateful for the distinct life experience.
Oh, yeah, that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
No, because I mean, I think the movie itself is, because of the style of the movie, it took a long time to make, and certainly didn't go out into the world and like make some mark. So it's sort of a, it's been a disappointment on that level, but it's, getting to talk to you, it's still nice of like having this experience of it, so it's nice to hear.
Yeah. And it's like, there's not that, yeah, like you live a certain amount of time, but like this will always be that experience for me, you know?
No, in this movie, you know, like I've been around the stuff enough to know that, you know, I don't know if the life of this movie is over yet or not. Some things come back around or, yeah. But I do think part of the reason I still like hold it in my head of, oh, well, maybe this one could be something is because, yeah, there is the story with you in it that is like real and affecting that like, yeah, I'm like, oh, maybe it just needs a different version of it, or who knows, maybe it'll be some movie I tinker with for 10 years. I don't know.
I support it.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see if we're, you know, out at some premiere of this movie in 20 years and looking back.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of what I said right after we shot it. I was like, I can't wait to do a panel about this.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what this is, but right. I would also
this is kind of our panel for ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah. So that, it's good to have a panel. Yeah. Yeah. You just realize how much panels are really as much just for the participants.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, especially with this kind of thing. Yeah. But it's also, I think it's titillating for anyone to hear. It's like, it's interesting stuff.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, thank you both for the experience and for doing this, because it's never easy, I think. I mean, I am an extrovert, but it's never easy to talk about this stuff. And you worked so much on that film. So, yes, I appreciate both you creating that situation and also for you talking so openly today. It's like really awesome. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Miriam.
Hell yeah. It's so great.
I want you all still to answer my questions. I still want to know, how can you be so high? How can you be so hot?
Hi. Oh, so fun. I will actually say I underplayed just how hot it was to fake have sex when you actually want to have sex, because you have to hold back. You aren't totally satisfied. You are left yearning. And also it's being filmed, so it's super heightened. I definitely recommend that life experience. Thank you again to Andy. Certain people who agree to be on the podcast aren't necessarily extroverts and maybe are private. So I'm so grateful to them especially. And to people who haven't yet been on the pod but do qualify, I take care of my guests. I make it a good experience. It'll feel good. So just a little pre-pod prod. And White Whale Guest of the Week, since we're in cinema land. When I was 18, I was in Montreal visiting my sister. And right before I got on an 8-hour night bus to go back to Boston, we watched Before Sunrise. And then I got onto a bus at 11 p.m. feeling amorous and wanting to fall in love. And I'm looking around the bus for a person to crush on, and there is no one, just no possibility, even though, as you may have learned, I am an equal opportunity lover. The bus is about to pull out. I'm disappointed. And then the doors open, and in walks this hot guy with a shaved head. And he sits right behind me. So within 5 minutes, we're sitting together. And within a half an hour, we are making out, which we proceed to do for the entire night. Amazing experience. He was on his way to basic training in the Army. That is the only detail I have. I don't remember your name. If you are this person, Mr. Basic Training, I would love to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. It is a dream. Until next time, XOXO.
X appeal is so real. X appeal is so real. X appeal is so real. You are open, you are closed. You are open, you are closed. X appeal is so real.